Are we live? Okay. Welcome to the Gates Historical Society's interview on July 18th, 2022. I'm Susan Swanton, Secretary for the Gates Historical Society and on the Archives and Museum Committee. We are about to interview John D'Amico, who is an astounding 100 plus years old, having been born August 8th, 1921. This interview will eventually be transcribed and added to the From the Archives section of the Gates Historical Society's website, gateshistory.org. So, John, let's start some questions. Tell us about your parents and siblings.
Experience of what?
Your parents.
Tell me about my parents.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what they done, my dad.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my mom and dad, both born in Italy, of course. My dad came here earlier by himself. Then went to work, went back to Italy, married my mother. Then came back to the United States. And a year or two later, had my mom come here with the baby. And then from then on, then I had a sister. The oldest one was the baby. My sister Mary was the second daughter. She was born in 1914, Linda. She was born in 1914.
Aunt Mamie?
Mary, I think she was. I was 4 years older. No, she was born in 17. I was 4 years old, younger than her. Okay, yeah. She was born in 1917. And my mom also had a baby here before my sister Mary was born. Her name was Dora. And she passed away with the influenza epidemic in that year.
Mm-hmm.
So then my sister Mary was born, which I did say, and then I came along in 1921. And that's about the whole story. Then we went through the 20s, I remember. You want me to tell the way my mother done things with us?
So let me clarify. You were the only son,
Right.
and you had three sisters.
3 sisters. Yeah.
Okay.
So now, do I have to tell you when we used to go to school?
Eventually we'll talk about school, but let's hear about your early life in Rochester. Where did your family first live?
First lived in Rochester in the 11th Ward,
Okay.
right by the old General Hospital, which eventually became the Fight, and then that eventually became something else anyway. I don't remember what they named it after that, but
On Troop Street, right across from St.
I
Lucy's Church.
lived on the street behind the General Hospital, which was Troop Street, which was the entrance for the emergency, and that's where the ambulances used to be, to pick up the patients. We used to hear the sirens all the time.
Okay.
And
I'll bet you liked that as a little boy.
oh, yeah, sure. then we had I had a neighbor. I had a neighbor, Di Stefano. I had this neighbor, and he had goats. He had a goat and also rabbits, because the old Italians, that migrated here, they believed in having pigeons and rabbits and maybe even a goat. They used to have them come to the place where to their homes where they would feed them. Some of them would get the pigeons that belonged to someone else and take care of them, for themselves. But coming from the old country, where they had very little, about survival, you know. So, because that's what we did when we were young also. So then I started going, my mom used to, and in the wintertime, we'd go to school, you know. In them days, there was no school buses. We walked to school in the morning. We walked back for lunch. We went back after lunch and come back after school. So we had 4 trips to the grammar school, you know.
Good.
But when we went to the high school, which was number 3 school, the grammar school, when we went to the high school, which was Madison High, which originally was built as a junior high. Maybe you know this, maybe you don't. But we had 2 high schools in Rochester, East High and West High.
Aha.
But when you went to the 9th grade, all the schools were junior highs. Madison High School was a junior high. Monroe was a junior high. And then the other one on Clifford Avenue, I forgot what they were. They were all built for 9th grade junior highs. And then if you went further, you either went to West or East High School. So, and very few went beyond the 9th grade, you know.
I remember where West High was.
Oh, that was on West Avenue.
It was
on Genesee Street.
Genesee Street and Aldine, because I had relatives that lived on Aldine. Okay.
And East High was the identical building on the east side of it's identical. The buildings are the same.
I did not know that.
East High School, the old East High School, looks exactly like West High School. They're identical buildings.
Well, the same way with Madison High School and Benjamin Junior High and Madison
Franklin?
Junior High. They were identical, the same plan.
Okay.
They were the same plan. In fact, my mother's brother, which is my uncle, Blardino, came here from Italy, and he worked when they were building Madison High School. And then he got, I guess he didn't want to stay here, and his girlfriend must have been back in Italy. And he went back to Italy and got married, and he stood there. But while he was here, he bought me a little tricycle, because I was just only in the 20s, but I was nothing, you know, 5, 6 years old, you know. And I didn't even know the time my shoes. So anyway, that made a nice story, you know. So then another time, my father had my grandfather come here, his dad, and he came in. My father had a little business on Main Street by Canal Street, wherever you know, by the old General Hospital. And he told my grandfather, you walk straight up, and when you see the building with the clock, you turn around and you come back. And that's what he done. But when he came back, because he came from Italy, he had pieces of coal in his pocket and pieces of wood. He said, these people throw everything away in America. You know? Because that's where they lived all day. Because my mom tells me things in the town, which was the place, were so difficult. Things were so difficult, there was no work or nothing there. Some nights they'd give me a slice of bread or 2, or a piece of dried sausage, and that was supper.
Okay.
All things were tough. So then, when my mother came here, and my mother started cooking. So my father told my mother, you don't cook like that here. Over here we have meat with the pasta. We have pasta and everything. So she loosened up and started making things. But you know, there's another old saying. I lived right across the street from the church, St. Lucy Church on Troop Street. And then the morning, on the Sunday morning, everybody went to church, you know. And then when sidewalk and they'd visit. And then on your way home, you could smell the spaghetti sauce being made. It's like, oh, it was a unique neighborhood. I don't want to boast the Italians, but we were a little different than the most of them because we did some crazy things, you know. And my neighbor, the one that had some, what's his name, Canela.
Hid the goats?
Huh?
The one that hid the goats?
No, the coach was the Stefano next to me, across Julia Street, was Uglabad. We used to call him the golder.
The what?
Uglabad, it means golder in Italian. So, anyway, so we told him, he said, where are you putting the tomatoes? He says, I can't eat the flowers. He grew tomatoes and vegetables in his front yard.
Really?
Oh, yeah. What do you do with the flowers? Can't eat them. Every Italian had a garden. Oh, they all had gardens. They all had fruit trees. They all had a grapevine.
And grapes.
All that. Well, they brought it with them, you know. So that's about.
We used to sit under the grape arbor in Grandma's backyard.
Yeah. Oh, Grandpa took a lot of stuff out of my hardware store to build the grapevine. I told him how to do it with the different pipes and the unions. Anyway, oh, he had a ball building it. So he loved it. Oh, he had a grapevine too. Oh, he even had a fig tree.
A fig tree?
Yeah, because
Wow.
you can't grow figs up north. But they used to take the fig tree in the wintertime, bend it over, put it, and cover it with the ground to keep the frost from killing it, then bring it up.
Wow.
During the year, he probably got 2 or 3 figs, but he had to have a fig tree.
And he made wine from the grapes that he grew, right?
No.
Not from
He
those?
didn't make wine from the grapes.
No?
That's another thing. Every neighborhood in the grape season would have all these boxes of grapes out in front. They would. I remember it took about 27 or 28 boxes of grape to make a barrel of wine, a 50-gallon barrel of wine. And they take the grape, we put them in, and they grind them, you know, and then you put them in a large tub, and you let them ferment or whatever for a while. Then we had a spigot on the bottom, and let the juice out, and then put it in the regular barrel with the top on it, and what was left in the barrel, then we had udoric, which was well, I know it's called torture, but I don't know what it is.
What did it do?
The round thing, we put the grape stems and all, and we used to squeeze them and get the rest of the juice out.
Like a sieve.
Or a press.
Huh?
A press.
Yeah, press.
Like a cider press. We
Yeah.
squeeze it, yeah.
You put all what's left when it stopped draining, and then put that in, then you used to fill the barrel of wine. And the barrel had to be full right to the top. Because if it went down, the wine would spoil.
Ah.
So every day my mother would have to go down and see. She had this extra wine juice to put in there to keep it up. And then they had a little tube on it to show the fermentation, what was going on, you know. And then after a certain length of time, capped it. And I got some of those wooden
Yeah, we have some of the taps
down
at
in
home.
the basement of my
Wow.
house. Then there was a little plug on the bottom of the barrel, you know. And you get this wooden spigot, and you hammer it right in there. Then you turn and get the wine out.
Sounds like fun.
And this was during Prohibition.
It was really
Oh, yes.
Grandpa made wine during Prohibition too, right? Grandpa made wine during Prohibition?
I'm getting to that.
Oh. I don't know if you wanted that to be common knowledge. It's a fun fact. My grandpa was a bootlegger.
Story. So then when I used to go to school, my mother, in the wintertime, we'd go to school, like I said, up and down 4 times a day. if it was winter, she'd take us to school on a sleigh, you know. And you could only see our eyes. We were so bundled up so that we wouldn't get sick, you know. And then she'd pick us up at school and bring us home, you know. She didn't do that too often, but I remember her doing that. And I used to go to school with Mary, my sister Mary. So then when we come home from lunch from school, maybe 7, 8 years old, you know, my mother would have a lunch basket for my father, because my father was in the store, and before we sat down and had our lunch, we had to deliver my father his lunch.
Ah.
And it was up the street about, well, anyway, the length of, it was not too big a walk. And my father would be waiting for us to cross us on Main Street. He knew when we were coming. So in the basket, my father would have, my mother would put a bottle of whiskey in there. Because this was prohibition, you know. And it was illegal, you know. But my father in the morning, when the customers came before they went to work, they used to take a little shot of whiskey. My father used to sell it for 25 cents.
Entrepreneur.
So then after a while, the business with my dad got a little better. He put in a pool table. Then he put in another pool table. Then he put in another pool table, got 3 pool tables. And in them days, there was the old Italian. Are you recording all this? You can put me in jail.
I think we'll give you a pass.
So
He's
they
having a
had
ball. Just so you know,
then
he's having a ball.
there was a bunch of Italians. There was a lot of immigrating in them days from Italy, you know, in the 20s. In the late 19s or 15s to about the 30s, there was a lot of immigration. So they'd come to my father's store because he could speak Italian to them. And my dad would tell them different places where they can go get their job and stuff like that. And he worked. Then once in a while, my dad would talk some of them into him. Now you're here. You better become an American citizen. So my dad would take them downtown to get their first papers to become citizens. You know? And he was he had so many friends. It was unbelievable. So anyway, that was proven when he passed away, my God. We only have a handful of relatives, but the place was well. Anyway,
3 full days.
he was so well liked. So anyway, I was going, he done that, and then with the pool room, every time, then after a while, in the early 30s or something, I was 13, 14 years old, I started going to the store and cleaning the pool tables with the brush, and I used to brush the pool table, then get a damn cloth and do the damn cloth. Then he taught me how to put the tips on the pool sticks, you know. And then I learned how to rack the balls. And every game was a nickel. There were 2 people playing. The one that lost paid a nickel.
So how old were you?
Huh?
How old were you?
13, 14.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
What about the Italian lottery?
That's coming.
Oh, okay.
So then,
Well, I know he started saying
then
it, and then
the
he
Italians,
gets mad.
the Italians forgot. When they came here, some of these fellows, they organized their own Italian lottery, which they used the numbers that they drew in Italy. And Italy first had 8 cities. Then they added 2 more and made it 10. And in every city, they drew 5 numbers. So when everybody would play, one fellow came from Rome. He said, give me 6 12 in Rome, you know. So the stations, which meant all 10 cities. So if they put a penny on one city or on all the stations, it cost them 10 cents because they were betting it in 10 different cities. You know what I'm saying? So that's the way that went. And then that's when right after the 29 crash in the market, then business just my father probably wouldn't have had his business left if it wasn't for the Italian lottery, because they still were able enough to come down and sneak out 10 or 15 cents to play the lottery, hoping to win a good pot. So if you played 2 numbers for 1 cent, and the 2 of them come out of the 5, you got $2.50. If you played 3 numbers out of the 5, you got 52 or 42.50. If you got 4 numbers out of the 5, this is all for a penny. You got $600.
That's a year's wage.
You wasn't allowed to play 5 out of 5 because the amount of the payoff would be fantastic and they wouldn't be able to pay you.
Aha.
But it was eligible in Italy, so they eliminated you playing 5 numbers. So my dad managed to squeak out a living through the Depression years, through for the lottery funds that he sold.
And helped other people who weren't doing so well too. He also helped other people. Not only did he make a good living, he took that and he was such a good man, he helped other people.
Oh yeah.
Give him a couple dollars here or whatever, yeah.
If he ever got the money, he probably had more money coming than he had. He just helped people, you know. And you know, I'm going to say something. That rubbed off on me. Because, you know, I don't know, some people have a satisfaction of I shouldn't say it this way, maybe envious, and they don't want to help anybody because they're afraid they'll get better than them or whatever, if you know what I'm trying to say. But my father was the other way. The poor guy, he doesn't have what I got. What's wrong if I help him a little bit? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You know, he's a human being. Well, I had the same kind of a job. But when I was working at the trade, I mastered my trade. I'll boast about that. Very few in my union, not a few, but I'd say out of my union, out of 15 of us, I was in that one of the 15 of a good mechanic. And that's because I would lay out patterns with triangulation and radial lines and parallels and all that. I was able to do that. So anyway, after I went out of my apprenticeship, I became a journeyman. When I became a journeyman, the scale was $1.50 an hour as a journeyman.
Okay.
When I first started, it was 50 cents an hour as a helper. I used to bring home an envelope of $19.80 because the Social Security was a penny on the dollar then.
Wow.
And I'd have to hand my mother the envelope. When I gave my mother the envelope, she'd give me $3. The rest she had to feed the family, you know. But she didn't need it to feed the family because my father was doing pretty good. So when I got married, I got all the money. My sister's the same way. But they made us pay board because if we didn't pay board, we'd have blew the money. Because when you're young, your eyes are bigger than your pocketbook. Am I right? Mm-hmm. Especially today. Today is worse than ever. There's so much that people want, you know, and they go in debt for it. I mean, it doesn't, I don't know, but anyway. But then I got something to say about that. I look back and I say, if we weren't in debt, we wouldn't have anything here. You got an automobile, it's not yours, you're on payments. You got a house, it's not yours, it's on payments. If you had that cash flow, that you wouldn't have it. You're able to enjoy these things on your future earnings, which is good, but that was a very good idea. But now they overdo it to people. They abuse the privilege of loans, you know. It's crazy. I can't understand people. But hey, they didn't have to suffer. They didn't have to suffer like the people on welfare. Now we were on welfare. We weren't on welfare. Knock on wood, my dad, because that little bit of the business and the little bit of the lottery kept him off of welfare. But the neighborhood was, I'd say 75%. Well, I'd say 50% on welfare. Because I can tell you why. I know. When I used to go to school, I could tell by the bacchanals the kids were wearing and the shoes they were wearing, they were all relief. All from welfare.
This was all the Depression, right?
During the Depression.
Yeah.
That was during the Depression. I remember going to the number 12 school that was close to downtown. And the kids used to go there. They used to have their shoes tapped. And I remember the people go to convention hall for certain other coupons, you know. There just wasn't nothing to be had. This is why maybe I grew up so stingy. You're worried about maybe it's going to happen again, but it's not going to happen again. Not the way we're situated now.
No.
This country is different now. Yeah. There was no reason for that poverty them days.
No.
It was still America. We had everything. Why weren't the people getting it? Why weren't they not getting it? Because the big business wanted, well, big business, there's two sides to work in business, you know.
So can I ask you about your favorite games and pastimes when you were a kid? What did you do for fun?
Oh, baseball.
Oh, okay.
Hands down.
Baseball and kick the can.
Kick the can, okay. Was a sport?
Years ago, you used to.
Now it's just
you
kind
had
of
milk that came in a condensed can, you know. And they punch a hole, two little holes, and they pour it. Well, anyway, when those cans were perfect, when they threw them away, we put our foot in there, and the sides would clamp on our. And we'd be running around with cans on our feet. Oh yeah, there's kids, you know. And then we used to kick the can for goalies like hockey or whatever you want to call it. Then we paid tops, you know, spinning tops. We used to put a circle, and the fellows would all put it in, and we'd all get a turn. And every time you knocked out a top with your top, you kept playing, and that was your top. You know, it belonged to you. And then we used to play marbles.
Oh, yes.
Huh?
Marbles, I remember that.
We played marbles. Some of the marbles were usually glass. And then there were some larger ones. They were worth about 5 times as much. And then we had the steelies, big round steel ball bearings. And then we used to use them too for marbles. Oh yeah. Oh sure. And that's nothing. Then during the Depression, things were so tough. This you're probably not going to like. It's in my book. The gang, you know, a bunch of guys, young kids, you know, 13, 14 years old. We used to break into the railroad cars.
Whoops.
Steal the green bananas, coconuts, sometimes chocolate bars in a case, you know. We never sold nothing, but we used to take them. Once we got a case of Mr. Good Bars, a whole case. Everybody in the neighborhood had good bars. We passed them out to everybody. We never sold them. We got cigarettes in the railroad car the same way. We smoked the first cigarettes. First fill them more cigarettes before they even got out of the stores here, because we robbed the car in the first shipment. We had said, oh, I'm telling you, we were bad. But it was survival. It was fun for us, you know. We never sold none of that stuff.
And coal, you used to get coal off the
Then
car.
we used to pick up the coal along the railroad and sometimes steal it in the coal yard. We fill a bushel of coal. And we sell a bushel of coal for 25 cents.
Is that how you heated your home?
That's
With
what we eat it all. We eat it all.
You didn't do it at home though, because mom would kill them.
People used to pay 25 cents for a bushel of coal. Well, me and the other fella always took two guys to carry the bushel. Well, we got 25 cents. It was 10 cents a piece to go to the show and 5 cents for candy. That's all we done it for. You know. So where else can I go from there?
Well, let's see.
Dice?
Uh,
Shooting dice? Used to shoot dice.
Oh, yeah. when we were kids, we also stole them in the railroad cars, too. Because the newspaper used to come in the railroad cars, which was the comic section that was printed elsewhere, and they used to put that in the Sunday newspaper. So we knew just what day they came. And we used to go into the railroad cars and take a bundle out, because we could open them up. They had what they call lucky bucks in there. And we used to shoot dice for lucky bucks. Then we used to gamble for matchbook covers,
Matchbook covers.
paper clips, gum wrappers. We used to shoot dice for that kind of stuff, or play cards rummy. I knew how to shoot dice when I was 15 years old. Oh yeah.
It wasn't for money, it was just to pass the time.
We did. Oh, that was fun. But I'll tell you, we used to play. Sometimes we played for money. We played penny rummy. And sometimes on the Sunday we played rummy for 2 cents. You know, that was it.
So how about your memories of World War II?
World War II, I never went to the army.
You never went into the army, okay.
I was working in the sheet metal trade. I was a mechanic. Another fellow and I, we were sent to this building, the contracting company, William J. Myers. We were sent to that one-story building alongside the cemetery across from Strong Memorial. And that was an experimental building for atomic fallout, which we didn't know. We were in that building for almost 2 years. We were lining the walls with lead, all lead work, because they had all kinds of animals there and all that they were experimenting with. We didn't know it, but they frisked us when we went in, and they frisked us when we went out. It wasn't that serious in the factories, you know, but there they were very particular.
Okay.
When we went out with the toolbox, they opened the toolbox and looked at everything. Because when the war was over, we found out it was part of the Manhattan Project. And then when I did go, then I went for the test, you know, for the army. But the war was almost over, and we went to Buffalo for the test. And then it was Nick Towell came with us then. So Nick Towell, he got accepted, and the rest of us from the neighborhood, we did. None of us got accepted. I got rejected for flat feet, you know.
For 5 feet?
Because them days, the war was almost over. But he went in and he stood about 6 months and he came out. In fact, I'll give you the history of Nick Towell. Nick Towell came to America around 1937. And his father had this Texas Hots place on West Main Street, which he wound up taking over. His father's name was Alec. And he had pinball machines in there, you know, nickel pinball, because nickels were a lot. Because I remember going there when I went to work. When I started work in 1940, 41, time his wife died in Greece, and then he had the son come over. Alec died too. When the son come over, he was supposed to, I think, I'm not sure, he was supposed to get about half of the business that Nick got, you know, but he never got it. But his brother put him in business with a couple other ones. Because I don't know if you remember when they opened up a Nick Tahoe on Lyle Avenue. Remember?
Yep.
Well, that was operated by his brother, Ike, and then Ike's son ran it. But Nick's wife used to go there to the cash register and take care of the business.
Ah.
So, and I assumed that Ike didn't get a good deal. You know, that's what I assumed. I may be wrong. I don't know what the situation was. But I thought maybe, you know, but money has an evil way of working, you know.
Do you want to share some memories of your marriage and family?
My heritage?
Marriage.
Your marriage.
About Mom and us.
Who?
About my mother and us. Share some memories about Mom. Getting married.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, tell the story of how you met her. I love this.
Oh, a love story.
You
This
want
is
to
great.
you want to hear how I met my wife?
I
Well,
love
we're
this
going
story.
down. I'm driving down. I'm alone in my car. This was, I think the war was going on anyway. There's these three or four girls. They were standing underneath the bridge there on Canal Street because it was raining. They were waiting for the bus, you know. So I yelled out in the car, I said, "Girls, what's the trouble?" "Well, I'm waiting for the bus." I said, "Come on, I'll take you where you're going," you know. So they all got in. And I discharged the two of them, whatever. And my wife was left.
You saved the best for last.
So I got a telephone number, right? And she didn't have no telephone. It was her neighbor had the telephone. So when I called, the neighbor would have to tap on my door. Over top, Tillman, anyway, next door. And that's the way I met my wife.
Neat. So you had 3 sisters and you had 3 daughters.
4.
Four daughters.
There's 4 of us.
4 daughters. I got three of them on Social Security. Yeah. My oldest daughter's what, 72?
Mm-hmm.
You're what?
I'll be 66 week after you.
66? Laura's 70?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My baby's 62, right?
Yes.
My baby's older than you guys.
Well, tell us about your business, Josh's Hardware.
Well, Josh's Hardware, when I used to go to school, I stopped there a few times and because we used to buy glass there when we used to break a window when we were playing baseball. And we used to have to chip in a nickel a piece to get the glass and give it to the persons who put it in because they didn't mind us breaking the window as long as we bought the pet glass for them. The people would put it in, you know. They made no big issue, not like today. You can't do that today. Those guys realize we're kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway,
Except for Wendy Ball.
oh, yeah, so anyway, I met Josh. First I'll tell him Josh. So a couple of times I carried out his ashes for him, you know, and going back and
From the coal.
Huh?
The ashes were from the coal.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, there's rubbish.
I did to December.
So when the store went up for sale, he didn't go up for sale. He told me if I wanted to buy it. And I was working then. Because I had my trade, I had a journeyman, and he had some sheet metal things in the shop because he also done furnace work at the hardware store. So they kind of fit in with me a little bit. So he decided he wanted $2,500 for the store. But the inventory was nothing. So I bought it. I had $2,500 in the savings account. 10 days you were allowed to have money in the postal savings, because postal savings paid a bigger interest in the banks.
Really?
Oh yeah, paid a half a point more in the bank. So I was getting 2%. So I bought the hardware store, and then I said, I gotta have stuff, more merchandise here, because there was hardly nothing there. So I told my dad, I said, I'm going to the bank and borrow $1,000. He says, I'll loan it to you. So he loaned me $1,000. I put it in the store. It just put a scratch in the place, you know. So I told him, I said, Dad, I gotta go get $1,000 from the bank. He says, you know what? He says, I think you need another $2,000. So he gave me $2,000. So now I owed him more than I paid for the store. So I turned around, so I took it naturally. In September or October of that same year, I gave him his money back.
Good for you.
My business in the wintertime was nothing. But then when spring came, it started going up, you know, nice. But I was still working at my trade. And I was going there at night, figuring out what we had to order for the next day and all that. And my father was calling on the phone in the morning, and then they would deliver it the same day. And I used to go there at night, put the gutters on my car and the ladders after work. And I used to go and hang gutters at night, and then go back to the store just before closing time and make out these orders and stuff for my dad. Because then all of a sudden, when it came about September or October, is when I paid my father the money back. He says, hey, you know the Italians, they do like this. What are you waiting for? You gotta quit that job. He said, the people need you here. Because look at the way they come and talk to you at night when you're here, you know? So I quit the job. Of course, I was living in the apartment house, my father's apartment on Reynolds Street, and I had 2 kids at the time, you know. It's kind of hard to leave a job. But you know what? My business was going like this. As soon as I quit, it went like that.
Wow.
Because I got a lot of expertise in me on fixing homes, you know. I can Mickey Mouse more than anything, you know. I know plumbing, they'll tell you, I know plumbing. Because the people used to come to me and ask me questions. And then, this is an example of one fellow, this was a black fellow. He told me, John, he says, I got a friend of mine, he's got a hot water tank and the piece broke in the tank. You think you can take it out? He said, well, I think we'll see what I can do. The next night, they both walk in the hardware store, one in the front and one in the back. And he hollered to his friend. He says, he's here, he'll fix it, otherwise throw it away.
So did you?
So I got a little saw and I sawed it in a couple of places. I got my diamond chisel and I picked it out. And he turned around and the guy says, I told you. Oh, I was pretty handy. I'm pretty handy.
Good.
They'll tell you I'm pretty handy.
Yeah.
I can do most anything.
So how long did you have the hardware store?
19 years.
19 years. Good for you.
But I had to leave. Between that and the little bit I invested, I done pretty good. I was able to take care of my family pretty good.
But you left because after you were robbed the 3rd time.
The what?
After you were robbed the 3rd time and they hit you over the head,
Oh.
that's when he left.
I said,
The
what
star
am I?
was gone in 2 days. That was it. He had an auction. That was it. Done.
I
2
said
days
to
it was
myself-
done.
I said to myself, what am I doing here? Trying to make more money than I need. I had enough money, I don't need any more. I said, I mean, what's the sense of saying he was a tough guy, but I'm in the graveyard? No.
So is that when you moved to Gates in
No,
1971?
Then from there, when I sold the hardware store in 71, I didn't sell it. I auctioned it off because I didn't want anybody to have my business. Because I didn't want my reputation broken by someone else. And I couldn't afford to do it, so I took my business with me.
Okay.
So anyway, I turned around. In 71 is when I bought the house in Gates. And I moved I bought this house on Arnett Boulevard in 56 when I had the store. That's when did you live on Arnett?
Yeah, when Mom got pregnant for me, there wasn't enough room in the apartment, so that's when you bought the house, because I'm number 3, so. Yeah.
Then I bought that house and I sold that house. And when I bought the one in Gates, the one I'm in now. And that was funny. I'm bad. So I told the bank, I says, I'm going to buy a house. I says, I want a mortgage. He says, John, it was Lincoln, it's a trust company, you know. He said, well, we're not giving out any mortgages anymore, you know. I said, listen to me. I told him. I said, you tell anybody that you can talk to upstairs, I said. You got my savings account, you got my checking account, I've done business with you for 19 years, and you're not going to give me a mortgage? Are you kidding me? They gave me the mortgage the next day. And then another time they came over while I was in business. This will make you laugh. I'm on the corner of Reynolds Street and Bronson Avenue. It's a neighborhood, you know. It's not a business district. So the two guys come from the bank because they know I got a few bucks in the bank, you know, and all that. He says, well, Mr. DeVito, you ever consider maybe you want to remodel here and you might need some money because maybe we can help you out? I says, come out here with me. I brought him outside. I said, would you invest in this neighborhood? I says, what's the beauty of another store going to do in this neighborhood? I says, it's not going to help me. I'm the one that's helping this place. You know, one of them laughed. They went on their way.
So,
You want to loan me my money?
so to what do you attribute your long life? What do you attribute your long life to?
Well, if you might not think it's possible, my good life was the way my wife took care of me, because I never had to work. I never had to do anything in the house. I sat down at the table, she served me dinner, she picked up the dishes, she washed the dishes, she washed the clothes, she kept the house, done everything. In fact, these kids are doing my work now, and they know I don't even know how much soap to put in the washing machine. Am I right? So they come every couple of weeks and do my housework and my laundry.
So you still
live alone, yeah.
That is amazing.
And he still drives, and he just had me drive him here because he wasn't sure how to get here.
Yeah.
Then couple of guys always told me, he says, John, he says, you got a few dollars. Why don't you get yourself a girlfriend? I said, what am I going to do with her? I don't want to tell you the answer I gave him.
Okay. But you have a lot of lady friends that...
I got a slew of lady friends. I got one I take to lunch once a week. And she's about 60, 61 years old. Very nice person. Really down to earth, nice person. I know my place, if you know what I'm saying. I don't make any crazy, requests or whatever. So anyway, she's very nice. And then there's couple of more in the gym. I go to the gym. I was at the gym this morning, you know. I go to the gym. I do 17 different machines at the gym, 6 days a week.
That's
60s.
that's his long life right there.
So anyway, and once in a while I'll tell one of the girls, I said, how about meeting you at the Olive Garden? We'll have a little lunch. And we meet there. Or we meet at Applebee's because they're nearby. And I meet them there. We have lunch. We talk a little bit. Everybody goes their own way.
Huh.
That's all.
So do you have any advice for us that are younger?
What advice?
Hey, do you have any advice for us who are younger? I'm only 80.
80. Oh, that's nothing. I'll tell you what happened. One guy told me, he says, John, he says, how old are you? I said, well, I'm 100. He says, well, he says, you know, I got a mother, you know, she's up in age too. She's 82. I says, is she single?
So do you have any final words for us?
Final words, I'll tell you. I always liked the Donald Gates. I liked Ralph Esposito very much. He was a nice fellow. He's still around, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
And I remember a couple of times I met him in the casino, and he loved to play roulette, because I like the casino, you know. Oh, I'm a big dice runner. I loved it. Oh, I love the gamble. I love the gamble. And I know nobody wins gambling.
Okay,
Gambling is entertainment.
okay.
Yeah, it's like anything else. It's like a drink of whiskey. Don't drink the whole bottle.
Right.
1 or 2 shots is okay. You know, you go gamble, take a few dollars. When you lose it, tomorrow's another day. You know what I mean? That's the way I look at it. Because everybody has, I don't care who it is, including the two of you. There's always a little instinct in the people that they love to gamble. And doesn't mean that you gamble with money. You take chances on things you want to do, and sometimes they don't work out. Am I right?
Yeah.
So that's a gamble.
Mm-hmm.
That's a gamble. So that's all I can tell you. But so then one guy, another fella asked me, he says, John, what's your secret of your old age? I says, well, the reason my old age, he says, the best thing in the world, I says, is to stay away from the woman.
Stay away from the...
Stay away from the woman. That's right. But I enjoy. You should see the girls. If I show you this on my phone, I must have 20 of them on my phone.
At least.
I think this is a good note to end on.
Dad, tell her about what Grandpa said about knowledge.
What about?
About what Grandpa said about knowledge is something that you can't.
That you can't what?
I don't know how he said it. It was. What you know is that you can't. I don't know. You said it at Angie's thing there. You were talking about learn stuff and learn.
Oh yeah. Oh, he always told me, keep your eyes and ears open, and your ears especially. He says, you listen to everybody regardless. If you like it, you bring it upstairs. If you don't, you let it out. But listen, because remember one thing, you don't know it all.
Amen. All right.
That's
I
right.
want to thank John D'Amico for having a wonderful interview with us. This has been very enjoyable, and I want to thank you very much indeed. So